Greetings, comrades. Hope this finds you well. So, not surprisingly, Biden's poll numbers continue the downward trend. This poll I came across on Twitter showed that he has a 38% approval rating, and what was it, 59% of the survey respondents disapprove. It's like what do those 38% think he's doing a good job about? Feel like that has to be a huge, chunk of the crowd that was the, vote blue no matter who. Then once Biden got into office, it was, back to brunch. The back to brunch crowd, I think, probably accounts for a huge chunk of that 38%. Because again, you know, the Biden administration has just been Trump 2.0 with liberal messaging, liberal marketing, a little bit of a tone down of the, racism and xenophobia, while still carrying out the same, almost a carbon copy of the policy agenda, both, in the imperial core here in the United States, and then US imperialism has remained unchanged. And even the very weak things that Joe Biden campaigned on, such as, the public option, that has been completely abandoned. I believe he also campaigned on canceling $10,000 in student loan debt. That has been abandoned. His build back bullshit agenda, as mild and milk toast as it was to begin with. No free community college, when obviously all higher education should be free at the point of service. We got rid of that. Also got rid of expanding Medicare to cover vision and dental. I guess they think, fuck it, what do you really need to be able to see or chew on shit for? What's the point? What's the point of having teeth or eyes? Not super important. Got rid of that. They got rid of expanding or creating paid family leave, paid maternity paternity leave, as well as paid time off. And again, like, these were all very, very mild, tweaks, fixes around the edges, crumbs to begin with. They got rid of those crumbs and then still passed the, build back bullshit agenda, anyways, taking out what small good things were in it to begin with. And again, like, so he also ran on decriminalizing marijuana, Jim Crow Joe. So it's not super surprising that he hasn't done any of the very, again, mild tweaks that he campaigned on, but he's went completely back on those. And again, it's almost like it's just, a game for these people. Like, they honestly, they're sociopaths. They don't really give a shit about the working class, about the most vulnerable and marginalized elements. And again, this refers to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. We live in a corporate duopoly. Both parties are completely bought and paid for by the capitalist class, hence why they can never get anything done that actually helps and uplifts the working class, whether it would be, canceling student loan debt, giving everybody health care during a pandemic, releasing people from prison. The United States is supposedly the land of the free, but we have the world's highest, we're the world's largest prison, colony, the world's largest carceral state. And we also spend more than the next, was it 10 or 11 or 12 countries combined on the military. And yet, our infrastructure and all these things at home are crumbling. Biden still has the concentration camps at the border. I believe they did get rid of the family separation policy, but it still sounds like, children are still getting separated from their families at the border. The mass deportations have continued. He's ratcheted up, tensions, or at least kept tensions very high, with the economic warfare that the U.S. is waging against Cuba, Iran, Venezuela. They're also ratcheting up tensions and sanctions against Nicaragua, North Korea, Syria, etc., etc. Basically, the only decent thing that Biden has done in office, at least from a foreign policy perspective, has been, pulling the U.S. troops out of Afghanistan, and of course, in very Biden-esque fashion, did it in a very haphazard and ridiculous way that wasn't really thought or planned out well at all. And we saw what ensued with that. So again, it's not surprising that only 38% of respondents to this poll approved of Biden's job as president at this point of the Biden administration in general. It's kind of surprising, frankly, that number is that high, right? Because again, if the goal was actually to help out the working people, help out the working class, because the Democrats are always using that language, like we feel your pain, we care about you, we're here fighting for you. We're a champion of the working people, of the working classes. We're one of you. We feel your pain. We feel your pain, bro. We feel your pain. It's like, then you would actually be fighting and advocating for things that actually line up with, feeling the pain of the working class, the working people, the most vulnerable, marginalized elements within it. But the Biden administration, Democrats in general, obviously Republicans, they don't do that. So again, it's very surprising that 38% of these respondents think Biden is doing a good job to approve of him, right? Because again, think about this: if he swipe of his fucking little pen, cancel student loan debt. I believe it's at 1.7 trillion right now. 45 million people in the United States have student loan debt, and those payments are set to resume in February of 2022. Which again, people of color have a disproportionate amount of student loan debt, and when they do have to take on student loan debt, they usually have to take on more than their white counterparts due to things like the structural racism, the white supremacy, that's very much alive and well, unfortunately, in the United States, and things like the racial wealth and income gap. So again, that would be a what we call targeted universality, a universal program that would disproportionately positively impact the most vulnerable, marginalized student loan debt borrowers, particularly people of color would benefit from that. He could do that, a swipe of his fucking pen, and $1.7 trillion in student loan debt would be gone, and that would be, again, a huge boost to the economy. It would be a radically positive change in 45 million people's lives. But he's not going to do that. And again, if he actually had any intentions of actually being a champion of the working people, doing things that actually benefited the working class, he wouldn't have been able to get into the position of the president of the United States, the president of the United States of amnesia. I forgot who I took that term from, but I really like it. And I mean, because again, that's why they sat, even Bernie's definitely not as to the left of the spectrum as I would like him to be, but that's one of the reasons the Democratic establishment sabotaged both of his runs, is because he would actually tried to fight and advocate for policies, and he would have actually used his executive power, his authority, to do things like decriminalize, marijuana, cancel student loan debt, use the bully pulpit to get that type of legislation passed. So that's why they, had to stop him. So interesting. But so here's that poll I was talking about. Political polls on Twitter, job approval. 38% approve, 59% disapprove. Look at Harris's number. I mean, even more, right? Approve 28%, disapprove 51. That was a Suffolk University. USA Today to poll 100. I think that's 1,000 respondents. November 3rd to the 5th. I also think it just really shows like, Biden really was able to get elected because he wasn't Trump, and you can only get so far in that. Like, he doesn't really have anything else to go on that he was just not Trump, but the kind of luster of that appeal is quickly wearing off when he's not really offering the populace anything of substance, and even the, again, very, very weak campaign promises, campaign policies that he campaigned on, completely backtracked on. Again, I listed those, earlier, and that was just some of them. And we talk about like the $2,000, checks that were supposed to go out if the Democrats won the two Senate races in Georgia, which they did. And then they had to use, well, you actually got some money here, so we're going to give you some money there. And well, see, that actually did add up to 2000. Like, more and more people are, seeing through the bullshit of both the Republican and Democratic parties. And as Richard Wolff says, the system is the sickness. And again, the Republicans aren't, you know, any better. And it's just a problem of this capitalist system where both parties serve capital. And that's why the establishment won't really let anybody get into a position of power that is a actual threat to these to the capitalist class, right? And that includes people like Bernie in the Senate, as well as the squad members. We see them towing the line, not actually trying to hold Biden accountable in any real way. We see that with their silence on the Biden administration's continued persecution in regards to Julian Assange and trying to extradite him to the United States for the crime of being a journalist. We don't see any type of critique or criticism of U.S. imperialism. So again, I think it's just really the luster is wearing off of Biden. Yes, he's shitty, he's horrible. He got into office because we were in a pandemic. Otherwise, Trump would probably still be in office, frankly. And just Biden not being Trump at this point is not enough. People are expecting more, and the Biden administration is not giving anything for people to really approve of his job rating. So that's why it's at 38%. And frankly, that seems pretty high. But again, I think that's a lot of the vote blue, no matter who, liberal hacks who went back to brunch, while, calling out all these same policies that, Trump was championing. But now that there's, Democrat in the White House with a D next to their name, it's back to brunch. Let's go throw back a couple of mimosas, fuck the poors, fuck the migrants at the border, deport the hell out of them. We got Biden in there. Fuck it. Basically, that's kind of, I feel like, a big chunk of that 38%, right? I don't know. Let me know down below. Do you think 38% is low? Is that high for that approval rating for Biden? I think it's pretty high, frankly, for the job that he's done so far. Just a big fucking turd sandwich, right? Wrapped in a bow like that. I think I might use that meme for this. Like the Republicans, just turd. And the Democrats are like a turd, but with like a little bow around it, right? It's because again, like I said, the Biden administration is just Trump 2.0 with regards to policy, both domestic and international. The difference being with liberal messaging and marketing, right? There's no substantive difference. If you can let me know if there's one, please enlighten me in the comments, but I don't really see any. Like the video if you like the damn video, subscribe for more content, all part of the people. Like the video if you like the damn video. Quick shout out to the 2 Uber comrades supporting my channel and this content Patreon, my partner in Independent Left News. Definitely check out Independent Left News. They're great.